From Homedale to Salmon River, District 3 has several teams that don't always get their due. Stepping outside the shadows of the SIC, this is the Treasure Valley Prepcast with Logan Green.
That's right. It's another edition of the Treasure Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, where we're talking about everything 3A, 2A, 1A in District 3 in the state of Idaho each and every week. Brandon Baney is always joined by Logan Green. LG, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Just hanging in there.
Yeah, we're all hanging in there right now, no doubt about it. Hey, we're getting really good feedback from the listeners on the podcast, Logan. We had a lot of emails. We had a lot of comments last week. I think specifically because we were basically shilling for free swag.
Yeah.
We had even somebody left a comment on YouTube asking you, Logan, what is your sweatshirt size?
So, they did? I didn't see the YouTube comment. Oh, I need to. Okay, I got to pull that up. Yes. I apologize. I'm spacing on names. The AD from Coal Valley said he would get us
Connor Jackson.
Connor, that's what it was. Connor said he'd get us some Coal Valley stuff. It's funny. I told me and Paul did a game a few days after that. And I said, yeah, he said he's going to get us a hoodie. And Paul goes, what? Hey, what? I'm like, well, sorry, Paul,
Right.
Beggars get what they want, and we're here begging, so we get what we want. So I'll have to follow up on the YouTube, but yeah, we'll take anything. It's great. It's fun to have stuff. I think it would be fun to have. I saw this video, and I think what's his name from Gooding, Cameron Anderson. This person had this helmet, high school football helmet, all throughout his house, going down into the basement. And he's like, I don't have anything from Idaho. And there was a couple people that said they'd get him that, but that would be cool. I mean, my wife would kill me if I put up hundreds of helmets around the house, but just having a little momentum from every school, I think it'd be fun to have that, something like that.
Yeah. Where I grew up in Missoula, Montana, there's a bar there called Red's Bar, and they've got a football helmet from like every high school and even the colleges.
Awesome.
Western Montana. The one from my high school, Stevensville High School, is actually my best friend's helmet after we played. Our coach gave them his helmet. So
look out, Brandon. You're making your mark on Montana history.
Right. by association, for sure.
That's right.
So so for the record, Logan, you're XL?
I'm an XL. You can just send it over. Any XL hoodies, send them my way. What about you, Brandon?
I'm like, I go between a 2X and a 3X depending on like length. I have a weirdly shaped body where my upper torso is taller, and I've got broad shoulders. So usually I just say 3X just to be safe.
Just to be safe. Well, that's like I'm more this. It's not me going out. I swear, clothes shrink. That's what happens sometimes. I have this one, and sometimes it shrunk for sure. It's crazy how it does that. It's not me going out, but it is funny how things are different. I don't know. I have short legs, and I have trouble finding pants that aren't like rolling onto the ground. Yeah, like I'm short. I'm like I'm pushing 5'8", and even 30 links. I'm rubbing the ground. So. Not that this needed to turn into a wardrobe discussion about Brandon and Logan, but here we are. Brandon.
Well, we're getting lots of questions about it. So for the record, Logan XL, Brandon triple XL, and now we can.
Now I can move on. Just message me, and we'll tell you where to send it. How about that?
Yes, for sure. So we wanted to start the podcast today talking about 1A basketball, specifically 1A D1 boys basketball, because that conference continues to be just bonkers, Logan. Look at these league standings. Rimrock 3-0, Notice 2-0, Riverstone 2-0, Victory Charter 2-1, Liberty Charter 2-2, Centennial Baptist 2-2, Greenleaf Friends 2-2, North Star Charter 1-1. I mean, that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams all within striking distance of, and really Idaho City's 0-2, and Wilder and Gem State are both 0-3. But because there's been, a small number of conference games played, everybody's in the mix still.
Yeah, it is wide open. And really, this is I think probably one of the stories of the last week was Rimrock knocking off conference favorite in Victory Charter, right? That's why we play the games. And they defeated Victory Charter 34-30. So if you're Rimrock, you have got to be happy with where you are at right now. You have beaten Liberty Charter and Victory Charter. Those were the two teams coming into this season that people said, who's going to, and we said it, who's going to be able to compete with those two? Well, clearly Rimrock can, as they've beaten both of them. And now they are in the driver's seat. It's theirs to lose. Looking at their next couple of games, they played this week. They had a non-conference game against Ridgefield, who was a state qualifier last year at the D2 level, beat them by 30. They beat Greenleaf, also beat them by 40 the other night. And you look at their remaining schedule, they have North Star on Friday, and then looking into next week, Idaho City, Wilder, and then Centennial Baptist. And it all culminates the last day of the year, February 11th, a game against Notice, which if Notice can stay undefeated in conference, which they are right now, you could have an undefeated game, those two going in undefeated in the final week of the season. And with the way this bracket, which we're going to talk about, shakes up, seeding is going to be extremely important in this conference tournament. I think more than any other conference in the state at this point from what we've seen.
Yeah, so we got the district tournament bracket last week for 1A D1 District 3, and what stood out immediately was that this year the league only gets 2 bids to state. Last year they got 2.5. So whoever took third place had an opportunity to earn their way to state via a play-in game. Well, that doesn't exist. Only the top 2 teams advance to state this year. And typically what happens in a conference when you have only 2 teams advancing, the consolation side of the bracket, whoever ends up third or ends up winning that consolation side of the bracket, generally they get to go through the back door and challenge whoever loses in the championship game for that second and final spot. So basically third and second get to play each other.
Right.
That's not happening with this bracket.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we thought maybe it was a mistake. A listener actually emailed into us about this, right? They were saying, does this look normal to you? And we looked at it and we're like, no, it's not. It's a huge conference. To not be a double elimination setup is, at least in my mind, I think it's a huge disservice. If there's, I get it that if there's an upset that you're done because you won, but let's just say Rimrock goes undefeated and then gets upset the first game. That's it for them. They're done, out, not even a chance. And maybe they have an off night. Maybe it's, every other, I have not seen a district bracket where it's not this, when it's this big that you don't have that double elimination, where going backwards, what's the point of playing the consolation bracket? I mean, everybody wants to win every game, but if you literally have nothing to play for, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, everybody wants to win, right? You want to win anytime you're out there on the court, but the night before you lose and you have no chance at, getting to state, none. It's over. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know. And yeah, I can sit here and harp on that all night, but it's just a tough way to, at least in my mind, that whoever loses in the semifinals, that's it for them too. They don't get to loop back over to the consolation bracket, work their way back, and play that second place team. I don't know. I can see some grumpy folks with it this year. I think that anybody that's upset would have a legitimate gripe with it, and that it would be a tough way to end your season.
I mean, we're talking about one extra game, adding one extra game to the tournament where basically the consolation bracket winner plays whoever lost in the championship. That's all you're asking. To be clear, there is a consolation side of the bracket, but whoever wins that, whoever emerges as the third place team, that's it. They're done. They take third place and they go home. So like you said, what is the motivation to if you're a team that loses in the semis, we could possibly have a final four of like Rimrock, Notice, Victory Charter, Liberty Charter. And let's say you're Victory and you're the 2 seed and you lose to like third seeded Liberty Charter or whatever happens.
Just all right, we'll pack it out. We're done. We don't want to keep playing.
What's the point of playing your consolation game the next night, knowing that the highest you can finish is third with no chance to maybe fight back through and earn a spot?
Those kids will go play that game at Settlers Park in Meridian. They don't care. Like we don't have a venue for this this spot to stay. We don't care. We'll play it at the park. They don't care. We'll play it at the church down the road. Nobody cares. We'll play a half court game. Who cares? We'll figure it out. I guess that's my point of view. I get it that it's tough to schedule and all this stuff, but man, it's just a shame that at least in my view that's it. It's a single elimination. Most tournaments aren't even single elimination. They all, if you lose, you have another shot at it. Most districts, even the small ones, will play a best of 3 series. Like you think of District 1 up north, sometimes there's only 3 teams in the district or 2, and they'll just play a best of 2 or best of 3. Yeah, I get it though. I mean, I see it. That's what happens in the NCAA tournament, one and done. But also, this is districts, and everybody else is doing it one way, and you're not. So, could be an interesting discussion later on to see how that one shakes out. And with the way it is, I mean, you look at Rimrock, Notice, and like a Victory and a Liberty Charter. Those teams are good teams, and 2 of them are not going, and only 2 are going to get a shot at it. I mean, why even play the final game, Brandon? What's the point? You both made it in to state. Who cares, right?
I mean, yeah. Honestly,
theoretically, why? Who cares?
Right. No, I get that for sure. Because also this year it's with the Max Preps rankings, so theoretically your win or loss in the championship game could move the needle, but probably I don't know, not a ton. So
yeah, but if you don't want to lose it, just call it good. And you could have been like the Raiders and the Chargers a couple weeks ago, just agree to take a knee and get out of there with a tie. And I mean that didn't happen, but
yeah,
almost did.
I mean, so this bracket coupled with the unpredictability of the league this year, I think is gonna people are gonna start asking why. I think, and so we just wanted to bring it up here. We're still a ways away from districts, but we wanted to start talking about it because I think more and more people, as they realize what's happening, they'll have questions. So
yeah, because even we did when we heard about it, we're like, that can't be right, and I'm just worried that there's going to be people playing in the tournament that don't even get it.
Yeah. So,
anyways,
real quick, Riverstone also 2-0. They're off to a 2-0 start in the league. Look at this gauntlet coming up though. Victory Charter tonight. We're recording this on Wednesday afternoon of the 19th. Victory Charter tonight. Liberty Charter Friday. Notice the following Monday. We'll find out real quick where Riverstone sits.
Yeah, that is a gauntlet of games right there. That's talk about going through the ringer.
and then they get a quote unquote break. North Star Charter on Tuesday, and then they play Rimrock on Friday. So
that's tough. That's 4 of the 5 best teams in the league right there that you have to go up against.
And I said break in quotes because like North Star Charter is also pretty
they're
good.
1-1. They're sitting there. I mean, I just think so far it's the conference has showed that anybody could come out and win this thing when that tournament does start.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And because of illnesses and games getting moved around, the back half of the schedule is really backloaded. So there's going to be good games almost every night in the Western Idaho Conference. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Speaking of the Western Idaho Conference, the 2A version of the WIC has also been very fun to watch lately. We had the big matchup last week that we previewed here on IdahoSports.com. And then, Logan, you were actually at the game. Ambrose and Melba, the top 2 teams, finally met. This was an interesting game. Ambrose ends up winning 60-49. But what did you see from that game?
So look, Brandon, that game, it was a 1-point game at the beginning of the first quarter. So after 3, Ambrose led by 3. On the opening inbounds, Joe Reber stole it and dunked it for Melba, just like just stuffed it and cut it to 1. And you're like, oh man, here we go. And then all of a sudden, couple of threes come raining in from the Ambrose side, and all of a sudden it was up to like 15 points just in the blink of an eye. That game was close. Ambrose led pretty much from end to end, but what's that? Not a harmonica, that instrument, the accordion. Yeah, it would go in and out, in and out, in and out. Ambrose's lead, and then it got very close right there at the beginning of the fourth, and then just came out. I tell you, I have not seen, and Lucas Gebhardt was there with me doing the game, and we were both talking, and we don't think we've ever seen a team miss as many point-blank shots as Melba in that game. They had so many shots, like there was a ghost in the rim popping it out. They were halfway down and just came out. It was just consistent all night. And I don't know how much of that is attributed to a bad shooting night or how much it can be attributed to great defense by Ambrose and making them uncomfortable and forcing them into maybe a look that they wouldn't have taken before. So you can play that dance all you want and say it was because of this, it was because of that, but I just can't see Melba missing that many shots in the future. And they're big. Melba's big and tough, just down low. Some of their guys down there they can dunk and they can get up and they are big. I think that both of those schools, when it comes to the state tournament, are going to be very hard to deal with. Ambrose is fast and quick and can shoot. Melba is tough, and they are going to any night. They're going to out-rebound you. I don't think I've seen a team rebound as well as Melba. They are phenomenal on the offensive boards. Again, they just could not get the shots to go Thursday night. It was incredible how many just didn't go in for them. And like I said, they're not a team that shoots poorly. They're a good shooting team on the year. So I don't know how. Again, Ambrose defense, just a bad night shooting. Probably a combination of them both. And I just don't think you're going to see that from Melba again. I think that they're going to take advantage going forward. And the rematch that's played in Melba in a couple of weeks should be a fun one. But hey, at the same time, you got to look and say, not so fast. Nampa Christian is here, kind of lurking around the corner as they go. And later on in the week, they beat Ambrose. So now all of a sudden we have ourselves a huge hog pile there at the top of the conference with only 2.5 bids to give out. Cole Valley still in the mix. Now Nampa Christian says, well, don't forget about us. We're here too to go along with Ambrose and Melba. So that is going to be a phenomenal district tournament to determine, who are the 3 teams that are going to have a chance at state from the district. It's not going to just be Melba and Ambrose, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah. So Nampa Christian beat Ambrose 57-53. And the league standings right now, Ambrose and Melba are tied for first at 6-1. Nampa Christian technically is a half game behind at 5-1, but they all have one loss. They've all beaten each other. It's like one of those circles, right? Ambrose beat Melba. Melba beat Nampa Christian. Nampa Christian beat Ambrose. And so they're all going to play each other again starting on Friday night, Friday the 21st. Melba will travel to Nampa Christian, and that'll be kind of the first of this 3-game swing.
It's a big game. If Nampa Christian can come away with a win there, man, that changes everything. It doesn't matter. Whoever wins this game it's gonna ripple effect into the state tournament. It's and you think about it, finishing first now probably more important than ever because those 2 and 3 are going to have to play each other in semifinals, right. And it's probably going to be 2 of those 3 teams, and they've proven that they can all beat each other. So finishing first versus finishing second could be the difference between going to the state play-in game or, just being that automatic bid. Again, we mentioned it last week. I think whoever wins this or is the play-in team is going to have a very good, favorable matchup because I believe it was District 5.
Yes.
And they're also bunched in together, but it's a little bit different than this bunch. A
little bit.
So,
they're all 6-6. They're not.
Yeah, it's a little different. So I think that realistically, I can see there being 3 teams from District 3 at state, and that but what 3? Who knows? Because Cole Valley has hung around with all of these teams too, and they'll have a thing to say about it before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, Coal Valley lost to Nampa Christian by just 3 the last time these two teams played on January 7th. So they certainly are in the mix as well. So yeah, this 3-game swing here. It's Melba at Nampa Christian Friday night, the 21st. The next game will be that rematch between Melba and Ambrose. That'll be in Melba on February 4th. And then Monday, February 7th, Ambrose at Nampa Christian. They'll all play each other and hopefully sort this thing out. But, man, a lot of good basketball. Okay, who impressed you more? I asked you because Joe Reber of Melba and Johnny Sugarman of Ambrose are probably going to be the co-players of the year. I think they were last year. They're both very skilled. Was there one guy that stood out more than the other?
Man, the thing is, Brandon, they both did their own thing. Reber scored. I have to pull up my notebook here, how many he had, but he scored a ton of points in that game for Melba. Sugarman, it took him a little while to get going. He had a little bit of foul trouble earlier on in the game, but he ended up being the Idaho Sports Player of the Game because he got hot in the fourth quarter. And is there any better sign of a great player than getting hot in the fourth quarter? No, it was crunch time and he stepped up when he needed to. But I don't know if I could pick one that's better, to be honest. There's a reason they were co-players of the year last year, and they could very well be this year as well. They're both very good. They're different players. Reber, it was my first time seeing him. But when in warm-ups, he got up and dunked, and I kind of stepped back. I was like, I did not expect that he was going to get up and dunk like that. And I saw him tagged. Idaho Sports put up a video of a dunk today on Twitter and Instagram pages, and I saw his name tagged in there as one of Idaho's best dunkers. And in open space, I think he very well could be. So they're both so different, I think, in the way they play the game. But I don't know if I could pick one, Brandon, to be honest. I know that's a lame answer and that nobody wants to hear. Ambrose people want me to pick Johnny. Melba people want me the other way. But I'll just tell you, too, super impressed with both of those fan bases. Not a huge gym at Ambrose, but it was completely full, and it was split right down the middle. It was like the Red Sea. To the left of us, all red. To the right, all blue. It was a great environment.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got to see both of those teams last year at state. I was on the call for the 2A state tournament for boys. Johnny Sugarman is such a smooth ball handler and 3-point shooter. And you're right. Joe Reber is kind of an athletic freak. It was really scary last year in Melba's second game. They had to play St. Mary's in the opening round. Congratulations on winning the conference and winning districts. You get to play the state champs right away.
Yeah, no big deal.
Right.
And what you said there, I think that's a perfect explanation. Sugarman is just smooth. He's slick, and Reber is just athletic. He's a freak, like in the best way possible. He does things that my body would just say, let's just die instead of trying that. And they both, in that aspect, they're just different ball players, but so good at what they both do separately.
Yeah, it was scary last year. So Melba lost to St. Mary's, and then in their second game, Joe Reber went up in the air and kind of got clipped out from underneath and fell and hit his elbow on the court like hard, like it looked bad, and he left the game. It was pretty early on in the first half, and didn't come back. And so I was like, oh man, that looked gnarly, but he's obviously recovered from that and looks awesome. So
right.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch both of those teams.
Definitely.
For sure. All right, 3A. So we've gone 1A, 2A, 3A. And for our 3A talk, we're going to switch over to the girls because we've talked about it for a couple weeks now. Parma starting to play their best ball at the right time. They're still just 9-8 overall, but they're 5-1 in the conference, and they have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 8. So they're a team that's certainly trending in the right direction. Fruitland, 11-4 overall, 5-0 in the conference. They defeated Parma the first time these two teams played on basically a buzzer beater. They had the ball with about 10 seconds left. Fruitland got the ball down low on the block to Gracie Huff, and she hit a little turnaround shot as time expired. And Fruitland won that game over Parma by a final of 48-46. And now finally the rematch comes Thursday night in Parma. Winner of this game probably wins the regular season title.
Yeah, probably so. And you look at this, really, when we look back at Parma's beginning of the season, I mean, they lost 2 to Melba, who's a good team, right? Making a run to the state championship last year. 2 to Coal Valley Christian, who might be, I mean, they might be the best 2A team by far. They played in a tournament with 4 and 5A teams and held their own.
Yeah.
Right. So no joke. That's 2 of their losses. And then they lost to Sugar Salem, who doesn't matter. They could be playing pickleball blindfolded and they'll still win it.
Top ranked 3A team, Sugar Salem.
So right there, I mean, that's 6 of their losses right there. 5, or I can't do math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their losses.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This Parma team is, like you mentioned, they're 9 and 8. I mean, 5 of their losses are against very good team, and has this helped them now when they get into this late season where they play these really good teams? They've already been there. They had that challenge earlier. It's not, deer in the headlights where they get up and they play a good team and it's, whoa, this is different. They've already done it. They know what to expect, and they're going to be right there. And said it'll be fun to see what happens tonight in that game, and if they can get over that hump. It's at home. You gotta like it in a rematch at home in a 1-point game, little revenge. If I had to go on a limb here, I like the Panthers tonight.
Yeah, and for Fruitland, they've had doubters all year. All they do is keep winning, and this is their opportunity to prove that, hey, we're not going anywhere, so you might as well get used to it.
Yeah, just be quiet and give us what we deserve. Soccer team did that this year. The girls' soccer team just rolled through everybody. Really, nobody stood a chance.
Yeah.
In them, and then those girls, a lot of them, just rolled right over to basketball and keep doing the same thing. So watch out for that Fruitland squad. Should be a fun game tonight.
Yes. And then real quick on the boys' side, speaking of Fruitland, they did defeat McCall Donnelly last night, 45-37. So McCall Donnelly takes their first loss in conference, and now it's kind of an interesting. Homedale is in first place now, 3-0. McCall Donnelly's 2-1. Fruitland is 1-2. That was their first win. It came over the Vandals, and Fruitland otherwise had dropped games to both Payette and Parma. So I don't know what to make on the boys' side.
That's gonna be another one where the district tournament is crazy to see who gets. And then did we talk about? What is their bid situation? I forget. Are they 2.5?
Yeah, so for the
please, everyone.
Yeah, right. buffering. So for the 3A District 3, they get 2.5.
Okay, so I've got a bunch of stuff everywhere right now. So they have 2.5 bids. I mean, it's probably going to be those 3, but in what order are those 3? I tell you, I saw that Homedale team play at the Owyhee tournament, and they had a rough go of it there just because of who they played. I mean, they played some very good teams. They played Ambrose. They played some really good teams in that tournament. Looking back, they played Ambrose, and then they beat Aberdeen and Malad at that tournament. But man, they're a team that's very well balanced, and anybody can lead that team any given night. A lot of the names on that team, and I mentioned it before, it was fun to do their games right up close. I mean, we were right there courtside for those games. And I'm like, oh, that's what Hayden Kinchlow looks like without a helmet on. Never knew that because I'm so used to seeing them with a face mask over their face. But, they're a good team. They're athletic. A lot of those guys play football. And so they're athletic, and they're going to work harder than anybody else on the court when they're given the chance. And right now, sitting pretty. I think they were the preseason favorite to come out of District 3 this year. Between them or McCall, I can't remember.
I think it was McCall, but I think Homedale was second.
So, but McCall, I mean, now that they have that loss in their pocket at Fruitland, does that open the eyes of Homedale and say, hey, we can take this thing, we can fight through it? And I mean, that McCall team is very good too. McCall Donnelly, super good, strong. I mean, DJ Green is most likely when he steps on the floor, the best basketball player on the floor almost every night. So those three are in for a dogfight. And it's just crazy when you look at where we are. I mean, girls state will start in less than a week, or less than a month. District tournaments are going to start in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And yeah, we're starting to get down to it already. Crazy that basketball season is really turning the corner right now, and teams are finding their groove and hoping. We've seen at least I've seen a little more cancellations than we have all through football season, and hopefully we can get those all out of the way before the state tournament starts. All these sickness problems will be out the door by the time district rolls around.
Certainly. Yeah. So last point on the 3A boys, the third place team from District 3 will play the second place team from Districts 1 and 2 up north. Just for some comparison's sake, Priest River right now is the best team in the standings up north. They came down to that Parma holiday tournament, beat Parma, but lost to Weiser 69-61. And Weiser is fourth right now in the league. So that gives you an idea of,
right.
We think that third team probably has a good shot at getting a state as well. So
probably be a good game. At least they won't be walking to their imminent death. We'll say that they'll probably have a good shot. Right.
Yeah, for sure. So, wow, we had a lot of good stuff. We didn't go as in depth on all of the conferences as we normally do. We kind of just picked a couple of big stories and really gave those stories the attention we thought it deserved. And we'll have plenty more to talk about next week because we're to the point now where there's like big impactful matchups every single week. So
this next week, and especially in girls basketball, next 10 days are really going to set the standard of what we're going to see at district seedings.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So thanks for tuning into the Treasure Valley Prepcast. As always, for Logan Green, I am Brandon Baney. Enjoy the games, enjoy the competition this week, everybody, and we'll see you next time on IdahoSports.com.